Welcome to our defense briefing show. Today, we're kicking things off with a somber but inspiring story from France, where the nation commemorates the 10th anniversary of the devastating Paris attacks. President Macron visited key sites including the Bataclan concert hall, paying tribute to the 130 lives lost and celebrating France's resilience with new memorial gardens. Next, we blast off into space with Blue Origin's latest achievement. Their New Glenn rocket successfully launched from Florida, deploying 2 NASA satellites bound for Mars and making its first reusable booster landing. This marks a huge step forward for private space companies, boosting their competition with SpaceX and opening new frontiers for scientific exploration. Finally, we turn to China, where a major anti-corruption campaign within the PLA has led to the expulsion of 9 senior officers. This unprecedented crackdown, led by President Xi Jinping, aims to tighten control and modernize the military, but it also raises questions about trust and readiness in the world's largest armed forces. Please continue to watch for more detailed insights on these stories. The Deutsche Welle recounts the somber 10th anniversary of the Paris attacks, a tragic chapter in France's history that echoes through the nation's consciousness. President Emmanuel Macron led poignant memorial ceremonies at 6 sites, including the hauntingly memorable Bataclan concert hall, where 89 innocent lives were lost. The nation's collective grief was palpable as memorial gardens were inaugurated, symbolizing resilience and remembrance. Macron's tribute underscored the enduring spirit of France, emphasizing the importance of unity in the face of terror and honoring the victims' memory while reaffirming the country's resolve to stand strong against such heinous acts. CBC details Blue Origin's historic debut of the New Glenn rocket from Cape Canaveral, marking a significant leap in private space exploration. The launch, watched with bated breath, culminated in a triumphant landing of the reusable first-stage booster Never Tell Me the Odds, a nod to Star Wars, signifying a new era of technological prowess. The mission carried 2 NASA satellites, Blue and Gold, destined for Mars to study the planet's space weather, an 11-month voyage to analyze solar wind interactions with Mars' magnetic field and atmosphere. This milestone not only demonstrates Blue Origin's growing capabilities, but also signals a fierce competition with SpaceX as Bezos' company strives to carve out its space exploration niche with innovative technology and ambitious scientific goals. The Associated Press reports on the Trump administration's decision to rescind protective rules for Alaska's vast petroleum reserve, a move that reignites the debate over balancing energy development with environmental preservation. The Interior Department announced the rollback of regulations established under Biden, which aimed to safeguard crucial habitats and wildlife corridors amid Arctic climate changes. This reversal aligns with President Trump's Alaska-specific executive order, emphasizing resource extraction over conservation, while local voices from Alaska's North Slope see this as a step toward economic revitalization and respecting regional leadership. Environmental advocates condemn it as a reckless retreat from responsible stewardship. The controversy underscores the ongoing struggle to manage the reserve's rich resources while safeguarding its fragile ecosystems for future generations. According to the South China Morning Post, China's anti-corruption campaign within the People's Liberation Army (PLA) has entered a new intense phase, with high-ranking generals like He Weidong, the second highest-ranking officer, being expelled and investigated for severe crimes linked to corruption. This crackdown, initiated under President Xi Jinping, demonstrates a concerted effort to tighten political control over the military, emphasizing political rectification in the next 5-year plan, which aims to root out corruption while reinforcing loyalty to the party. Analysts suggest that these purges serve to bolster Xi's authority, ensuring the PLA remains a trusted instrument aligned with party objectives, despite concerns that such internal upheaval might temporarily impact combat readiness, especially regarding Taiwan. The ongoing investigations target not only corrupt individuals but also aim to reinforce the party's absolute leadership, with new appointments like Zhang Shengmin, a veteran anti-corruption enforcer, signaling that this campaign will persist and deepen, ultimately seeking to reshape the military's culture and operational integrity. Foreign policy highlights Russia's evolving military tactics in Ukraine, particularly around the city of Pokrovsk, where Russian forces are making notable strides in urban warfare by integrating advanced drone technology. Unlike previous grinding assaults that resulted in heavy casualties, Russia has adapted by deploying small, highly mobile infantry teams that use motorcycles to evade Ukrainian drones, and by focusing on eliminating Ukrainian drone operators, considered a critical vulnerability, through targeted infiltration and drone strikes. These innovations allow Russia to better coordinate attacks and disrupt Ukrainian logistics, especially by attacking supply vehicles and isolating sectors of the front line. Russian drones, including specialized units like the elite Rubicon, are increasingly sophisticated, benefiting from Chinese cooperation in manufacturing unjammable fiber optic cables, which enhances their operational range. While Ukraine continues to resist with its own drone capabilities, the winter weather and terrain pose challenges for both sides. Nonetheless, Russia's ability to leverage its larger, more mobile army and advanced drone tactics suggests an ongoing shift in urban combat, with potential implications for future territorial gains. CNN provides an analysis of Venezuela's military, a relic of the Soviet era, which remains a significant regional force despite severe economic and logistical challenges. Venezuela's armed forces, heavily reliant on aging Russian equipment like Su-30 fighters, T-72 tanks, and S-300 missile systems, have been hampered by underinvestment, sanctions, and a brain drain of military personnel. The country's military structure is characterized by a high number of generals loyal to the regime, reflecting political patronage and a close intertwining of military and government. The Venezuelan Navy, with limited assets like a single frigate and a submarine, is comparatively weak, while the Air Force maintains some modern Russian fighters, though aging and prone to maintenance issues. The Bolivarian militia, a vast paramilitary reserve, purportedly numbering in the millions, is largely seen as an untrained, politically loyal force more suited for intelligence and repression than combat. Despite these limitations, Venezuela's military remains a symbol of regional influence, with the potential for escalation if external powers, like the US, increase their presence, highlighting the fragile balance of power in the Caribbean and the enduring legacy of Soviet-era weaponry. CNN vividly reports on the U.S. military's relentless campaign against drug trafficking vessels in the Caribbean, with the 20th strike executed earlier this week. The operation, involving fighter jets, drones, and gunships, resulted in the deaths of 4 alleged narco-terrorists, bringing the total fatalities to 80 since the campaign's inception. The strikes are aimed at disrupting the flow of drugs into the U.S., yet they stir controversy as the Pentagon admits it often targets vessels without knowing the true identities of those aboard. This ongoing offensive has strained international relations, with the UK halting intelligence sharing over concerns about legality, and Colombia suspending cooperation until the US ceases its strikes, highlighting the complex and contentious nature of this covert war. Associated Press details Florida's controversial new social studies standards that aim to reshape how students learn about McCarthyism and the Cold War. The state's education authorities have approved standards that emphasize a patriotic narrative, portraying McCarthy and anti-communist efforts as heroic efforts against communist infiltration, while downplaying the oppressive and repressive realities of the Red Scare era. This reinterpretation, driven by Governor Ron DeSantis' legislation, has ignited fears among educators and historians who argue it distorts history by omitting the widespread blacklisting, public inquisitions, and the chilling effects on free speech. The standards are notably extensive, covering topics from Plato's Utopias to Tiananmen Square, but they present a narrow view that could influence the next generation's understanding of American history and civil liberties. The Associated Press also reports on a significant breakthrough in labor relations as thousands of Boeing defense workers in the Midwest ratify a new 5-year contract, ending a 3-month strike. The agreement grants a 24% wage increase over the contract's duration and a $6,000 signing bonus, reflecting the workers' demands for fair compensation amid ongoing negotiations over pay and retirement benefits. The strike, which involved 200 machinists building military aircraft and weapons systems, was a response to disagreements with Boeing over pay raises and overtime rules, with union leaders asserting the importance of their work for national security. The resolution restores production at key facilities in Missouri and Illinois, ensuring Boeing's defense division can continue supplying critical military equipment while highlighting the ongoing tensions between labor rights and corporate interests in the defense sector. The Jerusalem Post reports that a close associate of Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz sharply criticized President Isaac Herzog's stance on the impending closure of Army radio, suggesting that Herzog, if he favors radio stations, could simply establish one at the president's residence instead of opposing the government's decision. Herzog had expressed support for reforming Army radio, but opposed its shutdown, emphasizing the importance of public broadcasting as a democratic tool that fosters dialogue and prevents voices from being erased, especially amid Israel's social and political polarization. Katz, however, maintained that Army radio was originally created as a military communication platform for IDF soldiers and their families, not as a political forum, and argued that its continued operation entangles the IDF in political discourse, damaging its reputation as a neutral people's army. The station is slated to cease broadcasting on March 1, 2026, with a professional team to oversee its closure and protect employee rights, while Army Radio's commander announced plans to challenge the shutdown in the High Court. The controversy underscores the tension between national security, democratic values, and media independence in Israel. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopsis, thoughtfully curated by the 6DO team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6DO Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6DO team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6DO Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6DO Brief via email.